let's get in the head and let's get in the heart of this ideal customer. Let's truly understand them better than they know themselves. Throughout that, it is pulling out the magic of you, your experience, your values, what you believe, what you know, your natural strengths, the way you see the world, the way you tackle problems. All of that is a culmination of you, and nobody else has that. You have to have things be irresistible, whether it's your free offer, your paid offer, for people to take action today. There's too many options. You got to stand out, and how you stand out is through that authenticity. Embodied CEOs don't chase trends. They pave the way. They lead from within, moved by purpose, unshaken by noise. When you are the source, you do not need permission. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you guys are having a great week. When this podcast episode airs, I will be wherever my surprise adventure is planned, and I think we'll be putting it on Instagram. So definitely check my Instagram for the experiment of I don't know where we're going, and I'll be off my phone for 48 straight hours, and we're going to do things that are designed to make me uncomfortable. That's the experiment, and document the whole thing with my content manager, Haley. So here we go. I am in the studio today recording podcasts. I had such an incredible week. I got to do the first VIP day in this new office, which I don't know if you go back 3 months ago on the podcast, I kind of threw it out there and was like, I want to do these. I want to do these in-person deep dives. And it was incredible. So rewarding. I want to talk about a few things around that. I'm excited because I'm sure the person who came, the incredible entrepreneur I got to work with all day, is going to listen to this podcast episode. So I think there's some really cool takeaways, 2 parts on that. And so that's what I want to kind of bring to this episode. Also, I am welcoming so many incredible female entrepreneurs. My mastermind is women only. And this week we have had 3 in the last 24 hours entrepreneurs jump into this round of the mastermind who I am so excited to support over the next 6 months. So I want to throw that out there. Make sure you guys know that my mastermind is open. It starts this round September 10th. This is a container where you get to work with me one-on-one in a very deep way. So we do weekly calls. You get one-on-one time on those calls. You get 2 one-on-one strategy calls with me. And then in between, you get unlimited access to me in Telegram texting. And it isn't like you go through a curriculum or you go through content. It is you get me designing your strategy, your marketing, operations, team, business structure, messaging, anything and everything you need for 6 months. It's like having a high-level business advisor, strategic advisor, partner in your back pocket for 6 months. And each one of these women has different goals and different things that they need. There's the short-term need of where's the low-hanging fruit? How do we generate more revenue? And then there's also the bigger picture of let's plan out the 6-month strategy and the scaling strategy for their business. So I only take 10 max in the group. And we're almost halfway full to that, and it's only been open for a little bit. So I would love to support you if that's something you're interested in. This is the only way to really work one-on-one with me like that. embodiedmarketing.com/CEO. It gives you all the details if you want to get your application in. I review every application. I talk to everybody before they come in and join. And so I'm just pumped because a couple of these women who have joined have been, actually all of them have been in my audience for a long time, and it's finally the right time. And so that's really cool when that works out. So I want to talk about first, before I talk about the takeaways content-wise from the VIP day, I feel like it will be helpful to explain this to you. The feeling of being nervous and unsure in your business never goes away. And so I've done a lot of consulting or, my masterminds is coaching, but I haven't had the opportunity to do a lot of VIP days. I haven't had the space. I just haven't put it out there as an offer. But I know I'm really good when I can get one-on-one and go really deep with people. I have my live events. And so I charge a lot for a full day. And, there's a voice in me that is am I worth that? To me, it's a crazy number. It's if you would have gone back to 20-year-old Emily starting her business and been told that I'm going to get paid $10,000 for someone to work with me for a full day, I would have been that's fucking crazy. Back then I was making $18 an hour. And the day was so good that I think I could charge double that because of the result that will come out of it. Anyways, I still get nervous. I still have those thoughts in my head of, am I good enough? Am I worth this? what if I let somebody down? What if I'm not worth this price and like they're disappointed? And so I want to share that because, I have definitely built success in my business. And I think the next time, if I were to do a VIP day, I have friends who charge 50 grand for a VIP day with them because they don't want to do a lot of them. And they're like that valuable to build out whatever it is that they're doing different. I was just on my peer mastermind call that I'm in yesterday, and someone said they paid $50,000 for a VIP day with someone to build out a webinar. And I'm like, I could be that one day. That could be my rate, right? And we paid, as a mastermind, that peer mastermind, we paid $100,000 for a day at Cody Sanchez's headquarters. We pooled all our money together. So my point being, like, every time you jump into that new level, you're going to have fear. You're going to have doubt, and those voices never go away. It is, what do you do even with the voices? And that's what really matters. And so I'm sharing that, prior to this day, if I'm being fully transparent, I had the voices in my head that was like, I hope, this person is last minute flying out to Austin. Like, we planned it, I would think it was like 10 days before. And I was like, before you basically start with us as an elite client, I want to do this day with you because I really wanted to be able to go deep. I got to talk to them before they signed up as an elite client, and I knew where they were at with their business and their offer and their messaging. And I was like, man, if we just had a full day to dive into this, I know that we could accomplish so much. So they moved their schedule around. They came out like within 10 days to Austin. And, in my head, I'm like, what if it's not worth it? Like, they're making this trip out here. They're paying for a hotel. They're paying for their flights. They're paying me for the day. Like, what if it's not worth it? What if I can't deliver? And it wasn't like necessarily a simple VIP day because there was a lot we had to comb through to get to clarity. And so I went into the day going like, I hope that I can deliver. Like, I'll give it my all. I will give it my absolute all, and I hope that it's enough. But I wouldn't even say like nervous. I was unsure because it was new, somewhat new. I have done VIP days, but not here, not like that. So anyways, I wanted to share that because in your business right now, it may be like launching your offer for the first time. It might be raising your price. It might be charging for your time to a level that you haven't charged before, where you're like, who am I to be able to charge for my time like this? But the reality is, like, I have built a multi-7-figure business. I've generated with my team $145 million in revenue. I've been at this for 11 years. That 11 years of experience and wisdom and strategy gets compounded and distilled down into one single day that it is absolutely worth that rate. And I posted a video on Instagram of the individual that I did the VIP day with who said this exceeded my wildest expectations. Like, I knew it was going to be good, but this was way more than I even thought it would be. Like, I blew it out of the water. Which brings me to the second piece, is there's some learnings from this because I left that day lit up. Like, I loved it. And when you do things and you're like, that is what I meant to do. Like, there's no explanation beyond this is my natural gift. And I don't say that to be like arrogant or cocky. It's like I was so in the moment and so present during that day and just allowing myself, my wisdom to come through and my strategy. Like, we weren't following a blueprint. We weren't following a structured schedule that I had for the day. This is the same thing with my live events. I can't put it into words. I really can't because it is such an embodied, intuitive experience that is pulling from my experience and actual knowledge that I have of what has worked, what hasn't, partly because I've tested a million things in my business, but also the literally thousands of business owners that I have worked with, that I have coached. Like, you have the reps. I work with a physical therapist who has 30 years of experience, and it's kind of the same thing when you work with him. He pulls together a culmination of all these different techniques and ART and different things he does, and it's like you can't really put that into words. You can't put that much experience into words to explain it. And so, the day wasn't this like structured, we do this first, we do this first, we do this first. It had its own flow, but it was exactly what needed to happen. And I obviously prepared. I looked at their intake form. I looked at all the things that he sent me beforehand. I knew his business. I actually watched his content the few weeks before the VIP day so I could kind of immerse myself in him. But even all my preparation wouldn't have led to an agenda of what we needed to do. Or like, I didn't go into the day knowing this is the exact strategy and this is the plan. I knew These are the problems we need to solve. These are the gaps we need to close. These are the opportunities. These are the, directions I want to go. But then I let the day just flow. So reflecting after that day, I was like, how could I describe what just happened? Because that was so freaking good. And I realized, like, you give me anyone who has embodied experience. This individual is an expert. They are wise. They have 30 years of experience in their industry. They are extremely wise. They are embodied in their knowledge. It's the same thing. It's not like I read this book or I took this course or I got this certification and now I know what I'm doing. It's like embodied wisdom. It is wisdom learned through actually experiencing and doing. And they have a gift and they have a purpose and they are passionate about that. And their business is here to amplify that. Money is a byproduct. They're not here, to be like, all I want to do is make money and I'll just do the thing that makes me money. They're here to be like, I'm here to fulfill a purpose. I am here to do work and create an impact. And money will be a byproduct of that. If you put me in a room with anyone, this is going to be a big claim. If you put me in a room with anybody who fits that, who is truly embodied in what they do, is wise, and if you're like, well, I don't know if I am, you are, you likely are, is wanting to fulfill their purpose through a business, to have their greatest impact, to serve people, I can take anyone and create them successful through the process that I did that day. Because I can pull out of you. Marketing it's a system. It is a system with principles, and at the root of it, it is intended to pull out your magic, create a connection with your ideal customer, and then serve and create impact through that magic. And that's how I could describe what we did. So if I think about the order that I went in the day, and I'm going to work on like putting this more into a process, because I was literally like, I told my team after, I was like, I know this is going to sound cocky, but I am so good at what I do. And you can put me, like, the level of depth I was able to get in a 7-hour day like that was so amazing. You put me in a room with anyone who fits that, the embodied experience, purpose, wisdom, impact, and wants to build a business, and I can make them successful. Because the marketing strategy is like the icing on the top. It's what you pull out of that experience and the communication and the messaging that you put on that experience that really creates the success. So I'm going to explain what we did because it might be helpful. The first thing I started with was kind of like a check-in on like, where's your intuition in what's working, what's not working, where you want to go with your business, what's in alignment, what's not in alignment. So, and as he's talking, I'm picking it up. Like I am intuitively knowing like what direction we need to go. And then where I started with him specifically, because it was the right thing to start with, was tell me more about your ideal customer. And a lot of people are their ideal customer, or they used to be their ideal customer. And so then it's easy to pull that out. And I know when to go deeper. And so it's like, okay, yeah, that's good, but tell me more. Like I'll ask questions like, why does that matter? Or like, how does that manifest for them? Like if you tell me, they're really frustrated that they're not making money. Okay, but like, how does that manifest? How does that show up in their everyday life? Or if you look at people who can't lose weight, or they're not healthy, they don't feel good, they don't have energy, whatever. It's like, what are the specific details of how that manifests in their everyday life? And I just had him talk. I'm like, just free flow and talk, and like I'm capturing it. And I put it on an audio recording, but as he's talking, I was typing notes. And so we spent probably an hour and a half to 2 hours going really deep on the ideal customer, which sounds so basic, right? It's like everybody says that, but this was like to a level of, let's get in the head and let's get in the heart of this ideal customer. And let's truly understand them better than they know themselves, better than they know how to articulate themselves. And we pulled in, I said, think about friends who fit this ideal customer. Think about past clients, current clients. Think about you when you were at that stage. Give me all the details. And I kept asking questions, and I built this kind of like bulleted list. Then that turned into, okay, now we have this person, like we have this connection to this person. And let's forget about everything that you've created to serve them so far. Maybe we'll come back to it. Let's think about, this person. They're sitting right in front of you. They're sitting across from you. And I tell you, you have one offer that you can take them from where they are to where they want to be. And tell me exactly what that would be. What do they need? What do they need? What do they want? Describe it. Okay, and then from there, it was like pulling out, okay, so if this is the outcome we're going to get them, this is what they ultimately want. Now, how do we take all your experience? Because this individual had lots of different like pieces. They had like, they could help sales teams. They could help people build presentations. And it all came under this umbrella of leadership. And so if we took all of that and we made pillars, that's for him, that was the right thing, pillars, but this could be like steps or a roadmap. And we said, okay, here's the result we're trying to get. They are here. We're trying to get them here. Tell me the steps. Tell me the ingredients. Tell me the pillars that they need. So then we defined that. We pulled in. And it was a mess, like not a messy process, but it all comes together, but it starts out as like scattered. Like you've got things over here. I had things that like up here in the document, and then I'd go down to this other category and eventually bring it all together. And then as we had the pieces, I went through each one and I said, now tell me the outcome. If I master just that pillar, tell me in their words, what's the outcome? Then we went through that. And then essentially by the end of the day, we had the clearest understanding he's ever had on his ideal customer and who they are. We had a signature refined offer from what he was currently offering for that person. And then we had the messaging on how to sell that offer. And then we went into the structure of it. And it was truly like taking 30 years of all this kind of, not scattered, but just I used a word when he was here. It was like dynamic experience. That taking all of that, which is not easy to do, right? It's not like this straight, it's not always linear. It's not this like straight line. Taking all of that and still putting it into a complete experience. And then the messaging around it. And at the end of the day, I was reading him some of the messaging that we came up with. And like, my team's going to now take it and build a sales page and build out all the assets, but we have the foundation. And he got emotional. Like he was like, this is my person and exactly what they want. And I haven't been able to get it that clear. And leaving the day, I told him, okay, now I want you to take this and I want you to reach out to anybody you know that is your ideal customer in your network. And I just want you to ask them like for feedback. We also came up with his webinar. So once we had the offer, it was like, okay, now let's build the webinar, the topic, the content in it, how we're creating the gap. That was the last thing we did. And I want you to ask them, number one, would they sign up for that training, the topic we came up with? And number two, would they buy the offer? And he texted me the next morning and he said, we are 7 for 7 out of the people that I reached out to. All 7 of them said they would buy the offer. And like we knocked it out of the park. So it was very rewarding. And my point, like for you guys in a content perspective, is those are the ingredients. Like if I was to boil it down and tell you the ingredients, the way that I did it, that's the process that I would use again. It's just some people come in and they have some of this, they have less of it. Like I just know how to navigate that and ask the questions and where we need to dig deeper or where we need to move on. But it is that deep understanding of the ideal customer, then taking a step back and going, what's the one outcome we're going to get that ideal customer? Because every single business exists to serve somebody. And then from there, okay, what's that signature offer? What is that irresistible? As soon as they hear it, they're like, tell me how to pay because I need that so bad. It's urgent for me to buy this. What is that? And then the final piece is the marketing strategy of how we're going to sell that offer. So many people do this backwards. They start with the marketing strategy. And that's why I wanted this day with this client, because he's going to now work with our team in our done for you offer in our elite package. But I wanted this day because I knew when I talked to him that we needed this depth on that, like those foundational pieces. And throughout that, it is pulling out the magic of you. Like that is what I truly believe is you are the magic of your business. Your experience, your values, what you believe, what you know, your natural strengths, the way you see the world, the way you tackle problems, all of that is a culmination of you. And nobody else has that. And so you have to get to the depth of how do I look at solving the problem I solve in my business different than everybody else? What is my unique magic, my essence that nobody else has? And I think that is what I am gifted at pulling out of people. And that's what my team is trained in our process, like our intake form. That's why I get people messaging me and saying, I literally cried filling out your intake form. Just last week, I did a bonus call with someone and they said, all I've done is fill out your intake form so far, and that alone was worth $2,000 because I know how to pull your essence out and put it into your marketing strategy and put it into your offer and your offer positioning. And I'm telling you guys, like with AI, with the direction that we are heading, this is going to be the only way to still be successful because that is what AI doesn't have. You have to do the work that we did in my office to then maybe use AI. Right? Like some parts of the day we pulled up Claude and I had all this stuff in there and I'd put in my big bullets of like the ideal customer and like the language. And then that would create powerful language. But there's no way AI could have come up with what we did. No way. Like it had to be him and I brainstorming, just like brain dumping, organizing it. And then that becomes the foundation. And I just think so many people are not going to do this. Like they don't know how to create that depth. And everything is then going to start sounding the same. It's not going to convert. It's not going to build the trust. It's not going to be irresistible. You have to have things be irresistible, whether it's your free offer, your paid offer, for people to take action today. There's too many options. You got to stand out. And how you stand out is through that authenticity. So I wanted to, bring that here, explain it. And if you would like to do a VIP day, honestly, if you're listening to this and you're like, I'd like to do a VIP day, I would really consider my mastermind because you get this every week with me. But I would love to start doing these VIP days more because the impact I can have in them is so tremendous. Like we just built an 8-figure business. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to go sign some big contracts on top of selling his offer with the clarity that we got on his messaging, on his offer, the strategy's easy now. Once you have the messaging, the strategy is very easy, but people don't know how to go deep enough. They don't know. And then it does take refinement. Like there are things we're going to absolutely refine, but the foundation is so rock solid. So embodiedmarketing.com/CEO is my mastermind. Helpmystrategy.com. You can book a call or feel free to send me a message on Instagram if any of those things sound intriguing to you. Otherwise, maybe think about, do you have the depth around your ideal customer, the offer you sell, and how you talk about the offer is very important. And where is there opportunity for you to go deeper? All right, guys, keep an eye on my Instagram because I am, when this episode comes out, going to be deep into my adventure of wherever we are going. And I will talk to you guys on the next episode.